Welcome back to my channel. So this is the part 2, which is the sewing part of this tutorial. So if you've not seen the part 1, I would advise you check my channel for the part 1 so you can really understand what we're doing here. So this part 2 will cover the sewing, the beading, the making of the rose sleeve, and the false wrapper. With that so now I've gone ahead to cut out all my pieces. This is the net I'm using. The center back, I'm not using it, I'm using the fabric. Then this is my back. This is my front fabric. So for the cup, I'm using a black fabric for it. So I've gone ahead to cut out what I want and added my seam allowances. The center front, the main fabric I use wadding, while the lining part I use soft stay. So you just use your interfacing of your choice and make sure you do your marking so you do not miss your pieces. So these are my back pieces. So you just go ahead and join them. Then this is the side. The sides back is net, and I'll need to put eyelet to it. So this is the part where the eyelet will be. So this is what I'm trying to show you because I cannot put eyelet on the net. So you just measure how many inches that will be and you cut it out from the net so that the black piece will make up for the piece you cut. So I'm just showing you how I'll go ahead and join it. It's just a simple 2-piece cup, so it's not a delicate pattern. So after joining, you come in with your hemming, with your tailor's ham and your iron, and press it very well. I have a detailed tutorial on how to achieve that tailor's ham if you don't have it, so please check my channel for it. So yeah, I've gone ahead to rule the lines for my boning. Now I'll be caging the cup. I also have a detailed tutorial on how to cage your cup, so this is what I have after caging it, following the line. So you just draw your style line and you sew your boning across. So I also have a tutorial on how to flesh it, so if you see that my video, everything is there. How to flesh your cup. You just use your hemming gum and place it all around the cup and place your fiber and press it. That's just it. It's not a difficult thing to do. So after you place your fiber, you come in with your steam iron and press it, and that's it. So this is my center back. I've gone ahead to join the 2 pieces, and the 2 sides will be for my eyelet. So one part is for my lining and one is for my main fabric. So you just go ahead and stitch the sides. But before you stitch the sides, you need to put your boning. Yeah, so I've gone ahead to bone this center back. You can put as many boning as you wish. So after putting your boning, you just leaving the part where you turn it open. You turn it inside out. So yeah, I'm struggling to turn it inside out. So if your center back is smaller, it might be really difficult, but you can do it. You just force it and it will turn. So after doing so, you just go ahead and press it. When you press it, it will relax flat. So yeah, I'm just comparing my measurements. I'm just checking. Yeah, I have 4 inches for my center back. So this is what I have. So you can just go ahead and top stitch following the boning. You can top stitch on all of the boning you did, then insert your plastic boning. When you stitch on the boning, to create like a boning channel for you to insert your boning if you want to give it more structure. So this is what I'm trying to show you here. So you can just stitch on the boning lines, then insert your plastic boning in between the line. So after pressing with my tailor's ham, this is how my cup is looking. See the depth of the cup. This thing can carry any size of breast. You don't even need to wear a bra. So now for my main cup, you have to make sure that your pattern still aligns, yeah. So yeah, I'm just checking that my pattern is still what I want, so that my cup will not be bigger or smaller than my client. So this is how I measure my cup with my pattern. So you just do the same thing on all of the cup to make sure that, so you know the actual allowance you'll be working with. And also label your pattern. So you just go ahead with your cup right side to right side and you stitch it, trim off the excess allowance and you pull it to the front. This is what you should have. So you just pull it and pin, pull it and pin, pull it very well so you don't have any excess or bubble. So after doing that, you just take it to your ironing table and press it very well. See the cup? The cup is cupping. So this is what I have. So you just press it. I just want to show you how I press my cup, because it's not just pressing, you need to know how to press it to get that cup. So yeah, I always use my rag to press it. I don't want to hear that the iron was too hot and my cup got burnt. So you just press it. See the way I'm holding my cup against my tailor's arm? So that is how you hold it, then you have that shape. So if you want to know how to make the tailor's arm, just check my channel. You see the cup? I have a detailed tutorial on how to achieve that, to get that tailor's arm. So by cup, I'm just making sure that they are even. So the next is to go ahead and clean the edges. I have a tutorial on how to get your cup edges looking clean like this. So I will link all the videos in my description box. So now my front fabric, I've gone ahead to join the two sides to the center front. The right side facing up. Then I want to cover my boning. So this is what I'm doing. So I'm just showing you how I cover my boning. Just to fold it 2 times. Fold it once and stitch, then fold it the second time and stitch on the other end. That is it. And you know my top has a very deep V, so this is how I achieve my V. Like I told you from my pattern that I won't cut it until when I sew it. So I've stitched the first V halfway. So now I'm going down with the second boning to create the V. So this is what I have. You see my V? So now I have my V, I can conveniently cut it out now. But I won't do that. I'll be using a black fabric or another net to turn it. So this is what I have for the sides. For the side back that will be having the eyelet. So you just go ahead and trim off. If it's 2 inches, you are bringing back from for the eyelet, you trim that 2 inches from the net, so that your back piece will not be longer. I don't know if I'm able to explain that. So because now I'm adding this extra black piece to my measurement, so I have to reduce it from my net so that that black piece will make up for the inches I'm cutting off. So yeah, this is where my eyelet will be. So you just go ahead and press it so it will relax flat. So this is the pieces. This is the piece I'll be using to turn my V, because I want it to have like a dark effect, and also I did dark stones on the George. So this is what I will use to turn the V. You just do it like you're doing turning your outfit right side to right side. You stitch just the V and you trim it off, then flip it over to the front. That's all. So yeah, I'm just making sure that my patterns align, because when I start joining it, it will be difficult to correct it. So this is the time where you have to check all your measurements, so that if you need to lose and correct anything, you do it now. So this is how my back will be. The 2 sides will be for my eyelet. So yeah, this is what I'm using to cover the front. So I've gone ahead to cut the exact piece I have So I'm using this part as my lining to turn that V, just the V. See the way I place it, right side. Then I'll turn it. After sewing just the V, see what I have. Then you trim it up very closely. Then you just seal the sides. This is what I've done. Then you just bring the back piece to place it right, wrong side to wrong side, because I want the allowance to be outside, so that I'll use my boning and cover it. So this is what I have. The allowance is outside. I'll use my boning and cover it. It's like what I did for this side. Instead of putting the allowance inside, my allowance is outside. So I've done that, and I'm putting boning by the armhole running to the back. I just want it to have structure. I've done one side, so I want to show you how I did it on the other side. So you just go ahead and stitch the boning first on the upper part. The down part is still open. Then after stitching the boning on the upper part, you go ahead with your satin or your whatever you're using to turn it, and you stitch it again. Then you use it and cover it just the way I'm doing. It's very simple. So you just fold it like that and you top stitch. That's all. Yeah, before doing that, you just make sure that you've cleaned up the cup hole where you'll be attaching your cup. I have a detailed tutorial on how to achieve that. So if you don't know how to do it, please just check my channel, you'll find it there. So this is how I'll be attaching my cup. So after I've cleaned the edges of the cup and also the edges of the cup hole, this is what I have. See, I'll just take it. You can just pin it and top stitch all the way around. This one, you don't need to stress yourself. This pattern is very, very simple. So I have a detailed tutorial on how to do it, so I'll not be stressing myself. I'll not be stressing on this too much. So after attaching the cup, I'll just head to my ironing table and create my eyelets, holes for my eyelets. I'm using a soldering iron to create my hole. So if you like, you can, this space you're using for your eyelet, you can also put a bone there, but I did not. But if you want your eyelet to be very strong, where you'll be putting your eyelet, put a bone in there, a ridgeline bone. Then you fix your eyelet to it to be very, very strong. So I've gone ahead to perforate all my eyelet holes. So I'm just making sure that they are even. So yeah, this is how my back is. Please ignore my red robe. So this is how it is. See my cup, everything is looking very clean, right? So this back is very, very stylish. So you can just style it the way you want. So this is how my corset top is looking. I also have a tutorial on how to clean the edges of your cup. So it's very simple. You just use your bias and turn it either to the front or to the back, however way you want to clean up your edges. So I'm just showing you how I achieve the shape on my hip, my waist shape. So I'll just use my tailor's hammer and place it down, and I iron it. Since the boning is flexible, you can just give it the shape you want. So these pieces I'm cutting is for my yoke. You know that black thing? The black net on my yoke. So this is what I use. So I'm just trying to prep it. Now this is my yoke. I've gotten the midpoint of my yoke. So I'm just trying to decide how I want to place it. So I'm just creating like a small triangle. The edges are sharp. So this is how I want it. So you just go ahead and place it, arrange it the way you want. So yeah, I'm just still arranging and changing the pattern. So you just go ahead and do whatever pleases you. So if the middle, that V I had, I went ahead and added a net there because I'll be pulling it very hard and I don't want the net to tear because the yoke is just a single layer. I'm not doubling my yoke. That's why I went ahead and reinforced that V so that even if they pull it very hard while lacing the dress, it will not rip apart. So that is what I did. So now this is my waistline of my skirt. I'm showing you how I clean up the waistline. I used a satin for it because I don't want it to stretch. I used a satin to pull it, while the lining of the skirt I use a lycra lining, so that one can stretch. That's why I use lining, satin lining for the waistline, just to turn the waistline. That aside, I want to attach my skirt to my corset. So yeah, I'm just trying to measure my armhole to my waist. So I'll just mark that point out. So you mark it on both sides. So my armhole to my waist, I think I'm using 8 inches. You just get your measurements from your clients. These are the measurements you need to measure from your clients. So after marking that point, I've already shaped my backs on my skirt, and I've done it, so there's nothing to worry about. So the major thing is just to align the side seam of the skirt, align it to that 8 inches mark you marked. Then you just pin it all across, just the front, and you stitch. And you're just stitching just the front. I'm not stitching to the back. It's just the front. So after stitching, this is what I have. You see the back is open for easy adjustment. So yeah, I'm just showing you the stitch I made, just the front. The back is open. So I've gone ahead to join my yoke. Like I said earlier, I'll not be doubling my yoke. It's just one piece. That's why I reinforced that V, so that even if they pull it very hard, it will not rip apart. So yeah, I'm just marking the midpoint of my yoke so that will serve like a guideline for me to place my black net to create that pattern. So at this point, you're supposed to have your clients coming for fitting. You drape this yoke on her body, but since my client is not here, I'm making a way bill for this dress, so I'm just using my tape to measure. So I'm just checking my armhole. So I've gone ahead to pin my yoke. So this is what I have. I've gone ahead to hand stitch it. So this is what I have after hand stitching. So this is my dress on my mannequin. This is what it's looking. So I've gone ahead to fix my sleeve and started the beading on my sleeve. So now this is the pattern for my beading. So I've ruled my pattern, my style lines, how I want it. This is the style line for the sides running to the back. So this is what I will be beading on. So at this point, my girls were already gingering. So this is what I did with those black net I was cutting. So I've arranged it on my net. So the beading work I've started. I have a very detailed tutorial on how to bead. So if you want to know how I bead this in detail, please check my channel, you'll get it. So this is the thread I use. This invisible thread. It's a fishing line, but very, very tiny. So at this point, this is what I have. The beading is still going on. So this is the side back. This is the side back. So here we are still placing our pattern. Here I want to show you this thing. Please don't use your thread to bead because your thread will cut. If you're using this glass bead, this broken glass bead, is very sharp. It will cut your thread. Even this fishing line I used, it was still cutting, but it was not cutting as much as it will cut with using the thread. So this is the style line for my cup. We've started beading the cup while we are beading the sides. So this is what I have. At this point, we're just beading, beading, beading. So I'm just showing you again, please, use your fishing line, use this thread. Now for emphasis, I know some people will say I did not show you how I did the beading, even though I have a detailed tutorials. So I just want to show you a small clip on how I did my beading. After attaching the thread to your fabric, you just string your bead. You don't want your bead to be too much on a go. So after you string it, you see what I have? Now you just make sure, you just look for where the bead stop, right? Now you take it back. I know you'll be tempted to push your needle in front, but don't do that. Push it backwards, like halfway the length of the bead. Just try to look for the midpoint of the length of the bead you just string. Yeah, then from that point, get where the point of the thread is. Then try and send your needle back to the front. So that is it. It's very, very simple. And also your thread, you don't want your thread to be too long so that it will not tangle. And also you don't want your thread to be too short so you'll not be tying. So I'll just repeat it again. You just string your bead. You see, not too much. I know because of time you want to put plenty beads, but please don't put plenty bead. Then you just mark where, you see the way I'm using my needle to mark where the end of the bead is. Then you take it back halfway the bead you just string. So you just look for the middle of the bead you just string backwards, right? Then you just pull your thread carefully. Then where the thread is, you just look for it and push your thread back to the front. That is it. There's no magic. So yeah, I'm just showing you again. You don't want to put too much bead. Like this is enough, or you can put less, or you can count your bead if you want. So you see what I'm doing? I want to show you, for those that might find it difficult to bead on a mannequin, you know, some parts will be very, very difficult to bring your needle out. So if you get to that point where it's difficult, so this is what I'm doing. You just use your needle, support the needle in front. Then you pull it out. I don't know if that makes sense. So that is it. The place where it's difficult to bring your needle out, just use another needle or another sharp object and try and support the needle coming up. Yeah, so this is what you do for the entire beading process. So it's just the same beading pattern. You just change your bead where you need to change, or follow your pattern where you need to follow your pattern. So at this point, this is what I have after plenty days of work, day and night. So this is what we were able to come up with. It's looking very, very cute. This is hard work, right? So this is the back. Ignore my red rope. So this is my sleeve, my rose sleeve. So this is how I achieved my sleeve. So this is my organza fabric. I've gone ahead to press it. So now I want to fuse the two layers together, like to laminate it. So I've gone ahead to spread my hemming gum across the fabric I'll be needing. Then I'll use the other layer to cover it. I think we all know how to laminate fabric, right? So if you don't know, this is how you laminate your fabric. After pressing it, this is what you should have. I've gone ahead to do the same thing for the black fabric too. So this is the pattern for my rose petals. So I'm just trying to get the pattern. So you just shape it the way you want. Then after doing so, you just trace the pattern all across your fabric. So I'm not still pleased with what I have. I'm still shaping it. So you just shape it to the size you want, so how you want it. So I've gone ahead to trace the pattern out on my fabric. You're supposed to use a soldering iron to cut it out, but my soldering iron, the voltage was too low. It was not doing its work, so I had to use my scissors to cut it out. since the fabric was fused, so it was not fraying. But it's better you use a soldering iron so you have a nicer edges. So I've gone ahead to split my fabric, my petals, into two for the two sleeves. So this is the base for my sleeve. So you just go ahead and cut it, and this is the interface that I'm using. So you just sew it round, create a hole for you to turn it out. So this is what I have. So this is how I'll be placing my sleeve, my petals rather. So now I'm just deciding how I want to place it. So I'll place the back first, the black petals first. I've gone ahead to stitch it. Now I'm going in with my gold petals. I'll go ahead and stitch it. So this is what I have. So I'll now place the black again and stitch, but it was not giving me what I wanted. It was just too flat. So an idea came into my head. So this is what I'm using to give it that crazy effect. So it will not be lying flat like that. So I'm using candle. So you have to be very careful. When I started it, I was burning my petals. So you just hit it. It will give you that funny, crazy effect. So also the edges were just looking too pointy. So I went ahead to make it curve a bit. So I'm just using the heat of the candle light to alter the shape of the petals and make it come up. So now I've started another sleeve. You see, this one is just flat, while this one is giving what I want. So I've gone ahead to repeat the same process, and this is what I have. See, this one is looking flat, while this one is looking fuller and like what it's supposed to look like. So I've gone ahead to lose the other one, and this is how my sleeve, my rose sleeve, is looking. So I've gone ahead to attach it to my dress. Now it's time for me to drape my wrapper. So the style I'm going for is just a simple style. You just pack everything to the side, then stitch it down and arrange your pleats. That's all. It's not a big deal. So yeah, I'm just stitching it. You have to stitch it very strong, then attach it to the sides. So yeah, I'm just stitching. So after stitching that part, you just come to the other side and arrange the pleat. This is where the beauty will come out. When you arrange it very well, you need to arrange your pleat and sew it down. At this point, you're supposed to do it on the client's body, but since my client is not around, I have to do it on my mannequin. I'm just hopeful that it fits her the way I want. So you just arrange your pleats and pin it. You can see at this point my wrapper and my dress is almost the same length, so this is how I'm making it shorter. So you just pick the wrapper and use it to cover your seam, the stitches you made. Then you arrange your pleats. I don't arrange the pleats for the front and forget the back. The back is also part of the outfit, so you arrange the pleats in front and also the pleats behind. Then you stitch it very well, tack it to the dress. See the way I'm arranging it? I'm using it to cover the stitches, the thread and the stitches I made. If you want your wrapper to be shorter, you can just take it up and raise it up to give you what you want. So yeah, this is the final look. I hope you enjoyed watching the video, the tutorial. I hope you learned one or two. So at this point, we've come to the end of the tutorial. Please subscribe to my channel. Thank you all for watching. Bye bye.